ACN. Can we all give it back to Nathan Goldberg here for doing an incredible recruiting training? Very sorry for the folks from Quebec. I know you lost Nathan a little while ago, and we love him here in Toronto, so thank you, Nathan. Nathan said a lot of nice things about me from the corporate world, and when we talk about recruiting or prospecting up, that's exactly what happened in my case. Some of you may have known my little story. Wonderful love of my life, Michelle Bersini, her younger sister, at the time was a 25-year-old bookkeeper, at a Sunday dinner said, "Bill, do you know what residual income is?" And I said, yeah, of course. And she says, "Well, I've got a couple of friends that are coming over after dinner to show you a business opportunity. Are you open to evaluating one?" And I said, "If it's encyclopedias, vitamins, or juices, no." And I said, "What is it?" She wouldn't tell me. She says, "You have to see it the same way I saw it." Alicia followed the script to a T. I decided, okay, I'm going to sit down and watch this. Mr. Saladamo and Vince Maquillo came in, did a nice long PBR. I took down 1,000 notes. I was what you would call a green apple, but looking back, I'm kind of green and red at the same time. Mr. Saladamo answered every single question that I had. And to me, I looked at it and said, if I can get paid a residual or a royalty, I call it, on my own cell phone, it makes sense. It should make sense for everyone. Now my story, as Nathan mentioned, was President and CEO of Virgin Records. I was very fortunate. I worked my way up the corporate ladder. I did not go to college or university. At 18, I started working at Warner Brothers. Worked my way up. All the overtime, asked the questions, became the president of Virgin Records, working alongside Sir Richard Branson at age 27. Phenomenal job. I repeat, phenomenal job. Great boss and a fantastic mentor of mine. Took the company from 14 million to 60 million over a 5-year period. Richard and I got along tremendously well, and then came that dreaded day where there is no such thing as job security. See, I didn't realize that term before. My boss loved me and I loved what I did. The crazy thing was, I got a phone call from his assistant saying, "Bill, Richard wants to meet you and other Virgin presidents at his house in Tuscany." This was normal. We did a lot of traveling. Decided to fly over there. And when I got there, I realized one thing. When he walked in the room and I said, "I got good news and I got bad news," I realized the good news was for him and the bad news was for us. See, a small decision out of anyone's control changed my future. One of our competitors offered Richard $1 billion to sell the company, and of course he said yes. Why wouldn't he? Every single person here would do it as well. And he basically said, "You've got 6 months, I can't protect you. You're going to be out of work." So I flew home at 32 with mortgage and kids and all the responsibilities everyone here shares. And I was petrified. But fortunately, I had a good reputation in the business, and Sony New York called and said, "Bill, we want you to come on board and co-run Sony Canada." I said, "Bigger company, this is going to be fantastic." The timing was perfect. They also paid me a lot more money. It was great. When I started at Sony, 2 things happened. Number one, I realized working for a corporate company versus an entrepreneur was very, very different. I started to lose the passion. But more importantly, the world figured out, and many of you probably agree with this, the world figured out how to download music for free. So I realized that our industry was in a lot of trouble. And over the course of 2.5 years out of my 3-year contract, I was the fortunate or unfortunate person to downsize the company by 125 employees. Couldn't stomach it anymore, and I needed to move on and find something else. That's when I saw ACN. And I realized that if everyone's going to download and upload unlimited anyways, you might as well join it rather than fight it. Started, and I'll be very honest, I know that Vince Maquillo's team was just exploding, and I wasn't the most coachable person. Put your hand up if you weren't a coachable person when you started ACN, and the rest of you are lying, right? Otherwise you'd be standing up here. So I went out and did my own thing, became ETL in 3 weeks. I thought, ooh, this is simple, and then it kind of stalled a little bit. And then one day I read, talk about personal development, a book called Your First Year in Network Marketing, and I realized that everything in that book was exactly what had happened to me. And I decided to surrender to the system, and the business exploded. here somewhere. Okay, I can't see him. I know he's here. Paul is one of the top squash players in the world and I call you a starving musician. He's developing. And he's become a great friend of mine. And Paul was going after a lot of his friends on showing them the business, and they all went, that makes sense, I can't afford to get in. But he also teaches multi-millionaires how to play squash. So I asked him, why don't you prospect up? So he went after one gentleman in particular and asked him to become a customer. Well, the person asked him questions like, well, how do you get paid? He said, well, I got to get 25 services and then I'm going to get 10% of the bills. And he said, but I own 6 houses. Even if I give you all my services, you're not going to make a lot of money, Paul. And Paul said, yeah, but if I teach others to do it, then I get a small piece. He said, is this multi-level marketing? And Paul stood up with confidence, even though he was shaking inside, and said, at its finest, we do energy and telecom. Well, a gentleman named Steve Kazaa, the president and managing director of BMO Nesbitt Burns, one of the largest financial institutions in the country, said, well, screw you, I'm joining your business, I'm going to get paid on my services, and I'm going to open up my network to you. Says, Bill, you've got to meet Steve, and Steve put about 120 people in front of us in 3 weeks. It blew up his business. He's now a very top-producing ETL, so congratulations, Paul. We've taken that approach, and I'm going to finish up very quickly. We've taken that approach by going after successful people. One banker led me to another banker, and that is the head of global markets for HSBC, who also brought in Donovan Bailey, 2-time Olympic gold medalist. So going after that successful, influential business owner, etc., allows you to open up your network much larger and, more importantly, much faster because they get it. Beatrice and I sat down with the owner of Premier Fitness, who looks like he's coming on board with 40 gyms, spends $3 million a year on energy. There she is. So here's the folks. The long and the short of it is this. Go after the most successful people. If Alicia did not ask me, do you know what residual income is, she would never have had me on board. Or the banks, or the Olympic gold medalist. So I thank you for the time. Nathan, thank you.